How to say no, stop, that's enough. This is so important with tinnitus. If you think of tinnitus as being in an overwhelmed situation, the nervous system is buzzing with too much information, and the cochlear or the auditory pathways that are full of nervous impulses are being overly detected and registered. A lot of tinnitus is about being able to switch off, go quiet, and settle. So a way to start switching off is to practice in a very deliberate way, saying no, stop, that's enough. And in the simplest possible way, this is something I used to do a lot when I was completely overwhelmed, when I had really bad tinnitus and I wasn't aware of all the baggage and stuff I was carrying and the reactivity to everything around me. I was just completely hypervigilant and too full and unable to say no, stop. I'm a people pleaser. I tend to say yes and take on far too much. Some of you may resonate with that. A really good way of practicing no, stop is to take 20 minutes out of your day and to switch everything off and to lie down, preferably not in your bed, because bed's a place where we can be with our partner or we can sleep. It's actually quite good to do it in the middle of a place where you're normally very busy. Obviously, if you work in an open office, I don't recommend you lying on the floor, otherwise they'll think you're crazy. But you know, I have my own practice here, and sometimes if I have some space, I just lie on the floor. In winter, you'll probably need to put a blanket over you and get a bit of a cushion under your head. But lying on a hard surface on the ground and just giving yourself a chunk of time, 20 minutes is a good amount of time for me. It's incredibly helpful just to do nothing. No computers, no phones, no responding to anything. All you're doing is you're giving yourself a chunk of time to stop and just let your mind and body and energy system just catch up with itself. You know, if you're steaming train zooming across the countryside at full tilt, then when you pull into the train station, you can get all the carriages of the train catching up, and you arrive into the moment with a big whoosh, and it can be a bit poof, like froth fizzing up to the top of the sea. But if you can allow yourself to settle, the mind starts to slow down, the tight body starts to open out onto the floor. And I think one of the crucial things is that you're giving yourself a space with the intention of saying no, stop to the world. I've had enough, need to stop. No people, no places, no things. Just here on the floor, taking a breather, doing nothing. This is such a fantastic technique because you're actually giving yourself space and you're allowing things to release and start slowing down and settle. For many of you, this will be quite revolutionary. You know, I have met people who have never done this, and so it's quite interesting to suddenly give yourself a chunk of time where you're deliberately not doing anything or responding to anyone or anything, and just allowing yourself to settle. The intention of no stop is a powerful one. We have to say no stop for our ears to stop listening out for danger. Our ears are permanently switched on, and the main function of hearing is to detect predators in the world and make sure we're safe. And so if you're in that up and out, hyper vigilant, oh, I've got to do this, got to do that, but a lot of tinnitus people are, if you're in that mode, it's very good to give yourself a holiday, have a break, stop, switch off, lie on the floor, be plonked on the floor in the middle of your living room or office or wherever you're normally busy, and just give yourself a break. It's incredibly interesting, just doing nothing for 20 minutes. And you will feel different by the end of it. You'll meet yourself, you'll meet your mind, you'll meet your feelings, and you're just saying no to stuff coming in. You're just putting in a limit. And you're actually starting to practice switching off. Tinnitus is neither on nor off. You're kind of on all the time. But when you properly switch off, the alarm bells stop ringing. Hopefully this should be common sense. When you get back into that, like a child lying back in the green grass, looking up at the clouds in the sky, or climbing into a hammock and just snoozing on a hot summer's day, or you've just had a wonderful massage, or a cranial session's dropped you into deep stillness, you're just switched off. You know, there's not anything particularly racing through the head, or the body's not bracing itself. You're just stopping, slowing down, settling. And the more we switch off, the more the senses switch off. This is so crucial to understand with tinnitus. So saying no, stop, and having the intention to have space and to switch off and relax is in itself incredibly helpful. And if you find it hard to switch off, having a therapy session with a body-based worker will give you that space. It's already a practice, giving yourself space, and then they help you switch off. And hopefully you can then start to switch off regularly in your weekly lifestyle, and you become better and better at finding the off button, which switches off the need to be hypervigilant and listening out for danger. This helps tinnitus. You can get better and better at this. Other people can help you, therapists can help you switch off, and practicing downtime, doing nothing for 20 minutes a couple of times a week is like magic. It is incredibly helpful. When I started learning about the body, I had the odd cancellations, and I would just lie on the couch for an hour, and that was a massive education for me, just to stop and allow myself to catch up, body, mind and energies just settling into one place. Nowhere to go, good to have a breather, good to switch off, and this filters through.